Hello and welcome to episode 28 of our Timberborn Update 7 Folktails Hard Mode playthrough in cycle 38, day 14. We've got about 23 days left of the drought. Last time we had a little bit of a misadventure attempting to start construction of our castle wall. We've got a stranded bot here that we actually, I think, can go ahead and release if everything else is looking okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just get rid of that. You stupid idiot. Well, never mind then. Stay here forever. At any rate, we have had an opportunity, thanks to some changes made by the devs in an update to the update to the update, which came out yesterday or the day before as of recording this, and they've adjusted very slightly these overhangs. You can see there's a little bit more shape to them, a little bit more curve. So they kind of look a little bit like those natural overhangs that a lot of us really did like. So that's cool to see. I'm curious, cautiously optimistic to see if possibly, remember this is a drought, so if we open this, unlike the Iron Teeth version, it will not spew forth bad water. So what if we got rid of this? And we tried to put in the bad water rig again. Okay, so that doesn't fit. However, comma, you can take a look at this. We just have these pegs in the center that go up and down as the thing is operating. And I believe, friends, that we are going to have a tremendous opportunity to come up here and blast out the center hole like we'd done, or we'd proposed doing. Which I believe that should be right in the middle. We'll just check. Yeah, it looks perfect. So I'm going to put this bad water rig back in place here in this spot, and we are going to put the zipline station back in front of it again. Because I really liked that arrangement. I thought that was good, and it helped our bad water supply be, you know, a supply and not, oh, we're out of bad water, uh-oh. Yeah, no, we have way too much stuff to do to worry about any more of that. So hopefully that's going to be one of those things they can get to sooner rather than later. But we have this enormous construction project and one very determined to be lost forever bot that I guess decided he didn't want to exist anymore, and that's all right, whatever. But we got a little bit of thinking to do here. Now you'll notice we have this, I guess you can call like tunnel within the tunnel open here, and that is so that we have a nice too wide, too high space for bad water to flow. And there's a couple of you in the comments who said, why are you burying the zip lines inside of more terrain? This is what currently our final setup is going to look like. And, you know, I got to thinking, what if we didn't do that? I don't know. I'm not going to commit at this exact moment to, you know, doing anything besides what we've already started doing. But, you know, there's enough building that needs to get done where we could push this back one more episode, this top bit at least. The basic construction we can definitely still keep going on. But I guess I will formally ask you guys, do you want to see the zip line hidden inside of this, or would you rather have it be completely exposed? We have a couple different options to do it that way. I guess to kind of demonstrate here, let me go to a place I know they can't build on. Or I guess it doesn't really matter. We already have this right here. I had an idea, and I was sitting here trying to think about possible ideas. You know, we can just have it straight on top, or just to kind of model what we have going on here. Assume that there is a ladder here and not that. We have the option to just, you know, do one of these numbers where only the pylons, the top of it, are sticking up. And, you know, this will still be connected, still be totally fine. So if you want to actually see the beavers zipping by on the pylons and the upper part of the zip lines, we can absolutely do that. And it can still technically be underground. We haven't gotten, you know, very far with the rest of this, and I'm not going to commit to doing that quite yet. So if you like this option, where just the top of it is exposed, let me know that. If you want to see it completely hidden, let me know that. And if you want to see it completely exposed, kind of like what we have, you know, here, but it would all be completely level, let me know that as well. Remember, it's a Let's Play, not a Watch Me Play. So I am definitely open to any of your input, and I very much appreciate it. That being said, they still have so much to do here. I'm really hoping that this will actually work. I've been told it should. Hey, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. They'll get that going. We'll put that zipline thing back in. That'll be quite nice. But we have a lot of other things we can get into, of course, including once the bad water gets back a little bit more production on some of this other related stuff. But honestly, I don't think we're really in a terrible position. I think I'd be more concerned about the position of our drinking water supply. So kind of tangentially related to that, this sluice was closed, and I do need to fix that, so I just went ahead and put this back to open. Thank you very much to those of you who caught this. This was something that happened as a result of this flooding with bad water a little bit when this initially broke. So I'm imagining that that's probably where a lot of our drinking water went, is into the sluices that are, well, I guess no longer here anymore, but into this sluice that I had intended to only be a reserve supply for the aquatic farm. So maybe a little late for this because this is already getting pretty low. But, you know, just food for thought, something to consider, that maybe that's what's been going on, why we ran out of water so early. So it's a little late now for this cycle, but we can continue expanding our storage of water. That would probably be a smart idea. And storage of food, and at least one person said they want to see a whole lot more beavers, which I don't really see the merit to doing that when we have almost 300 bots that are slowly taking over more and more of the jobs. But I don't know. It's not against the law to make a comment and give me an idea, even if I'm not necessarily going to agree with it. I do appreciate everybody's input, no matter what it is, provided it's not, you know, like hate speech or something. But I digress. There's still plenty more to be done here, and we don't have a ton of dirt stored up. We have 700 something. Like, oh, that's a lot of dirt. Well, each of these blocks is 6 dirt. So it's not going to be a terribly long time before we end up running out more. So we do need to continue probably putting in additional excavators. I don't really have a great way of putting these in here. I guess it makes sense to just, you know, keep building more of these things, but again, not really feeling this one. We do need to have our 5x5 space so we can utilize this, which that will allow us to do. Just that we can put this in here. Obviously, it is not a tremendously beautiful thing that we've created here, but that would allow us to keep the same, you know, general thing going here. I'm not really sure if I can put another one here without it just being some sort of really dumb looking thing. But, you know, that's kind of also my specialty here, is to do really dumb things. So why don't we, why don't we go ahead and just see what it is we're going to be able to do here. Get that connected. If I can blast this down and then I put like a big long one in underneath, then I can put 2 more of these things in here and we'll be making dirt a lot faster. And that could be kind of a useful thing. I guess we'll see what happens. So this is not connected. No surprise there. Let's get this completely removed. Pop this in here, and then we will need to reconnect, so on and so forth. I think I should theoretically be able to get this connected again here. I'm not... maybe not. Well, I guess we'll just like that. Sound effects included. You already know. Let's see here. Let's disconnect there, connect there, and then connect there, which should already be ready to go. Hey, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Cool, cool, cool. And you can see the little little prongs coming up through here. Let's go ahead and just clean this up here a little bit. Just demolish these things, because remember, we do have the ability to keep building up here as well. Lots of options. Lots and lots and lots of options, but at least for the time being, that is now a viable source of bad water again. And these guys can all get paused. That should be some sort of an improvement. Now, how are we looking over here? Let's think pragmatically. If I put this guy here, then I can just do a 3x1 here. And then the rest of this can just be, you know, normal platforms. Same deal. Just 2 more of those, and that will have the dual purpose of, you know, expanding the reservoir and doubling our output of dirt. So all we will have to do here is maybe a little bit of a less than ideal setup, but I think we are going to be just fine. We have to get the power situated here. I'm just going to get rid of some trees that are going to be in the way. And then this just has to get built up. Yes, I am aware we will have to have more of this nonsense, which I probably can just go ahead and get away with putting that in like that. Yeah, okay, that's gonna work. That's gonna work. So what this will allow me to do is get this built, first of all. Pause that. Pause that as well, so they just build all this mess. From there, I should, oh yes, I should be able to do this. Oh, this is so stupid looking. But that is the way the cookie crumbles, folks. And crumble it does. Just pop that in there. Nice and simple. Get this pathway out of the way. Actually, that last piece doesn't need to go. Get that out of the way and move it over 1 until it gets to here. Then put in that. Should be super simple. Then we come in here with our little power shaft turns. Build it right up through that, and then, you know, once everything else is taken care of and all of our support structures and everything are good to go, then we'll be able to get the actual these things, whatever these things are called, dirt excavators. That'll be a nice problem solved there. I don't know that there's much else they can be building here. I may have set things up in a slightly dumb position here. So I did, toward the end of last episode, turn some of these terrain blocks so they could be built from the side, and then I proceeded to make it impossible for the stuff next to them to get built, because apparently that was a smart thing for me to do. So let's put this in here. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I can go ahead and pop those in for sure. I just noticed that was a hole that was not filled. More than a couple people left comments asking why I had this 2 blocks wide instead of just 1 block wide. I don't really have a good answer for that, to be perfectly honest with you. That's just kind of what I decided to do. I don't think we're going to have sufficient enough water flow, bad water flow, whatever, through this whole thing for this to be that big of a deal. So I kind of just wanted to leave it be. I don't know. If you feel that strongly about it, then maybe we don't have to have it too wide. The eternal problem of the terrain blocks and the arrows comes back to, but it does not matter what I do. It always just completely defeats me. I don't know. Me and my 2.5 IQ, I guess. But we do have space over here that we also need to keep going and building across, which we don't necessarily have to do the way we did over here. We can do it one column at a time, which might be easier. And you probably noticed this area up here. This is new. This is a new mod called Timprove that has a whole lot of quality of life adjustments, and one of those, the most useful and currently the only one that I have turned on, is this coordinate selector based on where your cursor is. So that third number inside the parentheses is our vertical. So you can see it goes from 0 to 1, and then up to here, this one is at 11. This one is at 13. This one is at 16. This one's at 15. Remember that we are trying to build up to this level. So this is 16. So in keeping with that, I figured it would be beneficial for us to start the process of getting this outside cleaned up a little bit more. And we have the ability to, you know, kind of do a whole bunch of this at once. This is 12. This is 13. This here is 16. So yeah, this high is where we're trying to get the entire outside of the map. But to start with, from here over. So the top of this mess here with this rubble says 16. I guess that's the terrain underneath. So this height right here, that is where we're trying to get. Oh, this is absolutely nauseating to watch. But we can go ahead, come up here, and start clearing out some of this mess. I guess just start on the very outside and work our way in, which also will give us a chance to decide if we really want to have the 2 wide inside or the 4 wide inside. I guess you can keep giving me your thoughts on that. But it should not be too difficult for us to get up here. We'll just give them some nice access. And then from this point, if we just build this up, is it going to show me theoretical height? I guess it will. So that's 14, 15, 16. Yeah, okay, so that is the height that we are getting to, or we're trying to get to. Let's see if this was also correct. That says 16, and then we have this crenellations, whatever. I guess there's a debate as to whether or not we should have them facing this way, or this way, or this way, or whatever. It's going to be a while before we get to actually building these, so feel free to let me know your thoughts and your preferences on that. But since that is what was put in here before, that is what I will leave in place. Right. But starting... Hello? There we go. Starting over here, I don't think is going to be a mistake. So, let's go ahead and give it some ladders there. And as always, we can just kind of start whatever we can start, and then that's going to be that. Remember that we can build up to from any given point. So just coming all the way across with what we have access to now seems like a very prudent choice. And they should be able to, without a whole lot of annoyance, come in here and build the majority of this stuff. There obviously will come a point where, you know, there's trees in the way, and those will have to be removed. But, you know, we got 2,600 wood stored. I'm not going to cry about losing a couple trees because I don't want to sit here and wait forever. This will give them something to do. Obviously, as this continues getting higher, we can continue bringing this out this way as well. I'm going to try my best to avoid... And remember, my best might not be your best. I'm going to try my best to avoid as much of a problem with these things getting built out of order or in weird, frustrating ways as much as I can, because that's it's just a little bit less stressful for everyone involved. Alright, looks like this is good to go. Too far from a district and cannot be... Why? Oh. Okay. So, the suspension bridge can't be built because this can't be built because it can't be reached because I have no way to get across. Well, you know, I told you this was stupid, right? Like, we have to be able to, we have to be able to agree that this is dumb. So we'll just modify that slightly so they can actually build everything they need to be building. And move on from there. Remember, we're trying to get a lot of dirt, which means we are going to have additional stockpiles. And, conveniently, we have this zipline station right here, and we do have underground piles available, even if they decided that these were too powerful and they had to be nerfed so they can only hold 1,000 dirt. That's something we're definitely going to need to use as time goes by, so perfectly fine to have that. Looks like they've made some nice progress here. We can help them along that regard by doing one of these numbers, and then, of course, continuing this way. You get the picture. A whole lot of stuff going on here. But there is going to come a time where we are going to have to time-lapse this. I just want to get a little bit more stuff situated now before we do that. And check, this is height 15. So this is the height we're ascribing to. Let's just go ahead and, come on, go ahead and lay that out. Don't forget we can overhang, but that just tends to cause problems, so I am honestly tempted to just kind of, you know, not do that. We just build up a little bit at a time before things get incredibly, incredibly stupid. So, that is about the limit what we can do here without building out. And that is going to be, I guess we can call it a challenge. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse a little bit of this construction, at least until I kind of run out of stuff for them to be able to build without additional stuff being brought in the way of dirt. So you will see me pop back over to the construction of the dirt excavators and get those turned back on so those can get built and we can start having more dirt come in. But it is my goal to have a bunch of this other outside wall, or whatever you want to call it, done by the time this drought is over. So we'll see what happens. Alright, and as you can see, they are wrapping up most of this wall we put in here. And there's still quite a bit to build with this, but that is a pretty good start for right now. Over here, they've also kind of continued doing some stuff, but I've had enough of this paused where it's very likely they haven't really gotten too much else done. But they are still, from time to time, coming over here. And now it's time to get our reservoirs filled back up. This one did dry out, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pause these water pumps. These are all shut. I need to make sure that we get as much water back in this as possible, because, you know, it's a whole thing. You never know how long of a temperate cycle you're going to get, and we're definitely in a position where we need to have as much water stored as possible so that we can survive the longest droughts with an increasing population if we so desire. But yeah, there's just not enough water coming in here. And this is actually done very well. So I guess what we probably should think about doing, depending on how long this temperate cycle is going to be, maybe should think about expanding our reservoir this way a little bit. We did say a while back that it would be nice to have this whole thing kind of encircled. But, you know, it's one of those things where it takes so long to get some of this stuff actually built that it starts to become one of those things where it's, okay, well, is this ever going to actually get done? And then you just kind of, you know, forget about it because, well, why bother investing a bunch of time into something that's not really necessary? when you have all this other fun stuff you're trying to do instead. But I digress. This poor bot. That's just, you know, that's rough, buddy. Don't get stuck. But they've been doing pretty good work over here. I did start the inside bit as well, but I didn't want to get this too far out of what we're trying to do, since there was a decreasing quantity of dirt. But it is climbing slowly. And we do have 4 of these. I guess we probably should have more than 4, but for right now, it's probably about as much as we're going to be able to have, without it being some sort of a big deal. But now that this middle bit is complete, we can go ahead and take out these big stacks of ladders here. Those aren't going to be necessary. And instead, we can focus on getting maybe a little bit more this way. Remember, I did say that we were going to have this whole thing all the way out to here, where these towers were, which we can expand the height of these things. I'm going to go ahead, since I just remembered, I'm going to take half of these bots out of the Badwater rig, because we have absolutely full Badwater. I don't think we're going to need, honestly, might not even need these 5. Go down to 2, see if that helps. But I do want to get this more or less completely done here. We hadn't really decided like the width of this area here. I think it would be kind of smart to include this in the diversion thing in our 6 by whatever. But this is already, it's kind of inconsistent in its pathing here. So if we want it to be perfectly square, then that's going to start running into problems. Let's bring up X again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where, right here, if this was one side of that wall, this is where the other side would be. Which, just to give you a little bit of a better glimpse here, this is where that would hit, which is actually right in line with our smelters here. So I don't know if we want to be doing that. But this wall right here is probably the thing I'm least concerned about. I just want to make sure that the entire outside is the perfect height. And there's still tons and tons and tons of work to be done over here to make that possible. It's just, I think I kind of got myself into a situation that I might not have a fun time trying to fix. So if I remove that zipline station, then we're going to be able to reach a lot more of this stuff a lot easier. I didn't really do myself too many favors. But what else is new, right? It's one of those things. If we unpause this block, then I think they should be able to do most of what they've been trying to do here. There's a whole lot going on. It's a whole lot. we got to let them do their thing. It's going to take time. But you know how it goes. I should probably also fill this hole in as well. But they keep using this, so I don't know. Maybe it's actually helpful to have this open. It just seems like such a shame to have all this nasty water pouring in here. But you know, we're not really using this space anyway, so I guess that's all right. I am very interested, and I know we can't get to this for quite some time. Wait a second. This already has a thing here. Okay, well we might run into some problems trying to build this if this already has a no, that's above. That's actually probably fine. Okay, now I can see that. Alright, so we will need to fill this in, but that's not going to be a problem for a while because they've got to build this from the inside on both of those levels. That's going to be a very, very slow process. But, you know, we do have the ability to have these guys continue coming in this way, blast this out, so on and so forth. Probably should have been keeping up with this, you know, as time goes by, as one does. But there's just so many fun activities. I get distracted. I guess we probably can turn this back on. I don't know why I had all of these completely turned off. I don't think that was a... Maybe it was an issue of, like, stuff below it trying to get built first. I don't know. I honestly kind of can't remember a lot of this. Yeah, we'll just have to come back and mess with that. All right, I know I said I wasn't going to rescue this guy, but this is really irritating me. So, congratulations, you're going to get a get-out-of-jail-free card with 22% durability left. Let's go back over here. Yeah, see this? This actually got built in only about 14-15 days, so I think that's pretty cool. Of course, we're continuing this way as well. Oh, we have 1,000 dirt already? How'd they do that fast? I know there's not a consumption for this anymore. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a deal. Okay, well, that makes me feel a whole lot better about this whole thing. So I guess we can just keep this rocking and rolling here. Nope, I gotta catch... Nope. I gotta catch that before it becomes an issue. So for whatever reason, the way that they decided to program this, it just, it'll build stuff where other stuff becomes inaccessible, and that is, not something I'm a fan of. Causes a lot of problems. But I figured it's probably safe to just, you know, go ahead and keep adding a little bit here and there. We have so much wood, it really doesn't make sense not to just build a bunch of these. Basically, anytime it changes height, let's go ahead and pop that in. And there's all these trees up here. Again, we have completely full log storage. I'm not going to feel bad about getting rid of these logs when we have entire farms over here that aren't cut down. That gives them something to do. Keep it nice and full. Yeah, just... In due time, all of this will make sense. It'll look slightly better. And we'll be able to have a wonderful, perfect, amazing, all the way around the outside, everything. And that, friends, is going to be something to see for sure. Now, this is not going to stay with a path on it. It's just got a path on it for right now because that is going to be the easiest way for us to, you know... Yeah. For us to build the stinking thing. Now, obviously, this is going to be a lot more than 1,000 pieces of dirt to get the rest of this built up, but I do think it is important to get that laid out before we try to do anything else. And I guess I just have to come all the way out to here. And I know it probably doesn't need to be super complicated, but I end up massively complicating a lot of this stuff anyway. So we might as well just kind of, you know, keep this roughly same area all set up, ready to go. We do have this tower here, which kind of makes me feel like this needs to come into this area. And that should be totally fine. Again, now we have to keep an eye out for those stray pieces that get... Hello? Why can't... Okay. Stray pieces that get past me here. That'll get us just about to right here. I know that's going to take them a long time to build. I'm not really so worried about them building this as I am them building the rest. We just want to make sure everything is nice and securely fastened up over here. That's what's going to take a long time. But now they should... And then we got drought coming again. They should have made some pretty good progress over here, and it seems like they have. Now, why did I pause all of these? I should have just paused this one here. That probably hasn't helped, but it's all waiting for the one behind, so, you know, we can just clean this up by having that one just be paused. I know somebody left a comment about that. Let's peel this back a little bit. Yeah, see, they're ready for more explosions here. We all are. And how much of this do we manage to fill up? Oh, see, that's why. That's our problem. we only filled up this much during, 6 days. But we do have another, almost 50% as much time. So maybe it'll fill up a little more. We still have almost 8,000 water in our storage, so that's fine. And there's no way they're going to be able to finish this by the time we actually need to store more stuff. But I guess this is okay. Not really any more clean water we can grab from anywhere unless I were to blast the backside of this out. But I can't do that now because I have this thing in here. So I guess if we want to kind of peel this back a little bit. Yeah, we could. We could if we're very careful. We could blast a channel out this way that would also dispense clean water. But that would kind of complicate things when we get a bad tide coming in. And I don't know that we want to mess with that much. I don't know. I'm not completely opposed to the idea, but I do think it would be important for us to, be careful with this. So, to get up to where that comes out, you know what? It actually wouldn't be that hard. I already have access to the top of this, so all I would need to do is just come down here. Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's going to be a fun little side project here in a little bit of time. Get them to build this, they can get rid of this blockage, and then yeah, we can build a little bit of a diversion, but we will need to fill this with a sluice gate in the event of a bad tide. This isn't going to happen before the end of this temperate season, but since we do have another drought coming up, this is a good opportunity to make sure that when the next opportunity does arise, that we are prepared. Alright, so that being put there is going to give us an opportunity to come out and do this, because remember, we can do overhangs now. Can I go on top of... Oh, yeah. Alright, so that obviously needs to have somebody go up inside of it, but now that I can do this, this is going to give me an opportunity to just really make some good work out of this very, very, very simply. In fact, if they're quick about it, we might actually be able to get this done before the drought starts. Will we be able to reap a whole lot of benefits of this? No, not really. But it's still going to be kind of cool, I think. Yeah, let's get the rest of this in here as soon as we can. Now I'm kind of excited about this. Now, there's only a little bit that'll come this way, but it's better than nothing. And it will give us access here to where we can... yeah, look at that. Look at that. Now we got some clean water coming in here. This will get popped in... I think... aha. See, it's a blockage. Alright, well that's going to be easy enough problem to solve. Peel this back again. 4 sources? Okay. Well, that ends up being fine. Let's see, bring this in this way and then put in a sluice here. This just needs to be closed below contamination. I know a dangerous game we're playing here, but close that below contamination, and we might get a little bit of extra stuff in here. Just on one side. We can, of course, come in the other side through some other means, but I'm pretty happy with this. I did not think this was going to happen this quickly. We can get another 0.8 days worth of water into this side from it. We can also, just pump regular drinking water out of this. That is an option. Not a very quick one, but that is a way to go about doing it. Yeah, see, now we got a lot more coming out this way. Just get that put in place, and hey, cool. I am pretty happy about that. I had not ever thought to do that. I'm sure some sort of horrible thing will befall with the beavers now that I've tempted fate by doing this. But I will go ahead and put in this to close above contamination, 1%. Just so that is offset a little bit. Well, that's pretty cool. All right. Enough saying that's pretty cool. Let's peel this back. Oh yes, it's time for more explosions. I always forget that's a whole thing that has to be constantly monitored. That was supposed to be taller. On this side, I guess. Well, they can't reach any of this at this point, actually, because I don't have a easy way for them to get around. Okay, that's probably fine. Just go ahead and do one of these numbers. That'll help keep this a little bit more organized. I know there's just a whole mess of scaffolding. It is what it is. But they're making some nice progress here as well. Very cool to see. We have 1,300 dirt and rising. So I think you can guess what's going to happen next in a little bit. We're going to end up time-lapsing some stuff. But I'm pretty happy with the amount stored on this side. And I guess this is okay too. So, you know, 23 days, going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to keep these pumps off for the time being. We'll keep an eye on how much water is actually stored. But these pumps being paused, I want to say the last 10 days-ish. Probably means I can't leave these off for too much longer, but we're doing what we can. You already know. So what's going to happen now? You can see some of this progress still occurring here, but we're going to end up putting in, guess what? More dirt, building out the wall, and just generally continuing to try to accomplish our goal of completely enclosing this. That is, I think, a somewhat achievable goal, even if it's not completely done with the wall structure or whatever, but if the very outside is done, we can call that a success for today's episode. So that's what we're going to be doing. Of course, you're seeing a couple different areas highlighted here. Getting all of the dirt put in, getting some of the dirt put in, and just generally fixing holes and building scaffolding and all that good stuff. So while we're here doing our time-lapse, don't forget I would like your input specifically on whether we should have the zip lines exposed completely, including all the buildings, hidden completely, or if you just want to see the tops of those poles and the zipline stations poking above the dirt so we can actually watch the beavers scoot around, but the bulk of the mess is hidden below. That's always an option too. So please do let me know your thoughts on that. And then if you have anything else about the wall design or something else you might want to see, I'm always open to that as well, because I very much value your input, and I want to make something pretty cool. I like the idea of doing a quote-unquote mega build in all of our series from this point forward, if we can make it work. In the Ember Peltz one, we're having fun with the big aqueduct there. Apocalypse mode was Apocalypse mode. There's a whole lot of like large infrastructure that we built in there. Even if it wasn't specifically a mega build, we did have the giant reservoirs and the big dams and everything. And that ended up being pretty fun. But, like I said, very much appreciate your input, and we're going to see what these beavers were able to get done by the end of this drought with the help of the 30 times speed mode, which is also part of that Timprove mod that added some quality of life stuff. So, hopefully we can get some of this stuff accomplished. We'll see you on the other side. Alright, so another drought down, and cycle 40 is upon us. Look at all this building they've managed to get done. I would say the outside of the castle area is essentially complete. There's a tiny bit here that wasn't taken care of. And then we also haven't gotten all the way up to this area quite yet. But, you know, a whole lot has been finished. And we do have a little bit more exploding that we can do, as always. But I'm gonna have to, actually no, them exploding all of this is an objectively good thing. We do have to be able to get across this way to continue blasting out, but outside of that, you might have noticed that our water got really, really low. In fact, it was down to 0, but nobody died, and I turned the pumps back on, so that is looking pretty A-okay. And I didn't want to continue building this bit out because I wasn't sure that we were going to be able to fill it. But seeing how much is actually retained here makes me think that it's going to be possible for us to make very good use of all of this space. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue building out this way. See if I can make this make sense the best way possible. I think we're going to have to send some beavers out this way. So I'm going to come in here and make that easily accessible there, and then make that accessible down to here, and then of course put a staircase there, and get rid of all these trees as one does. And I'm just going to have this go square mode up to this point here, and then I think it's going to make the most sense is just building this right way across here. Super simple. Hopefully nobody gets stuck. I refuse to tolerate silly billies of any kind, and that's going to be the way this thing goes, folks. But we do have access through here. We've got that ready to go, get nice and taken care of. Again, we don't need these trees. We don't need to cry for them. They're totally fine to just be ignored. And now what we have is we have an opportunity to start filling this up, because we're going to get pretty full here. And we may even be able to, depending on how we're feeling, we may be able to fully merge all of these reservoirs and then just not really worry about it. Of course, keep a little bit in reserve behind some sort of height gapping here. But if this overflows enough, it can fill this up. Don't forget, we did put this in last time, where we have the nice clean water from half of this. I know this is not quite finished yet. We do have to get into that side, but we are getting a decent bit of water through here. So, you know, it could be a very good thing for us to have access to all of this fun stuff here. Is this... Can they actually get to this? I guess they probably can. They're just not doing it with any sort of quickness. So if we just connect these here, that should be a little bit easier. Get the rest of these. We have so much dirt. We have an incredible quantity of dirt. We got almost 2,000 stored up, and they're not being shy about using it. So we will get this. Actually, we don't have to do it that way, but I think I'm going to, just because of how this is set up here. Probably going to be the simplest solution here is just to get this popped in like so. Like I said, we can continue balancing this out, but if we want to have this set as an overflow, we can just put a dam piece on top. Should not be very difficult in the slightest. Just to keep this nice and filled up, put in, say, 2 dam pieces here. And that will make its way through here, and obviously this might need to get changed in another way to accommodate that, but I think we should be in pretty good shape. Just have to get the rest of this popped in here. They can build from the top like they always do. Get the rest of this put in place. Obviously, they can't reach this without some sort of help. But all we have to do is put in a corner ladder, and they should be able to take care of most of this without it being too annoying. Let us have this go all the way around the upstairs here, I guess we could call it. Because this is getting fuller and fuller the more we mess with it. So, taking a look here, this is already 0, so we can't blast that, but we can blast this. In fact, where's my dynamite? Do I still have that turned off? Oh, I do. Okay, well, I want to know why I have so many bot vacancies. I guess we just haven't been able to keep up with the, Oh, is it gears? Is it planks? Or is it metal? No, we actually have all those. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. I guess we're having issues keeping up with our production here. But at any rate, this does need to be exploded out. So we have a little bit more storage here. Again, nothing tremendously difficult to accomplish. Unless I've somehow managed to not have this dirt go all the way down, which I don't think is possible. No, we should be looking pretty good. Should be looking pretty good. Just let these guys put all their dynamite in place. I think I can safely seal that up. And then, based on this, not needing any of this stuff, I think I can also safely seal up this bit here, this bit there. That should be fine. I don't think anyone can get silly-billied. So that'll be a fun thing to keep up with. This is still filling up slowly. Hey, wouldn't you know it, another drought here on day 4, getting that warning in. So let's check our progress here. Oh, they're making moves. We just unfortunately did not have the dynamite turned on fast enough for that to really be much of a helpful thing. So I guess maybe next episode we'll get into actually having this canal finished. I'm a little concerned about the verticality of this. We may end up having to come in from above to a certain degree, depending on how this is going to be set up. But, not going to really worry about it. We've had quite enough of a time doing most of the rest of this. But seeing how this is put together now, I can feel okay just unpausing these terrain blocks, letting them build the rest of this. Our crenellations, and then also these roofing tiles and the fences as well. Plenty of opportunities to get other stuff put in place. Don't need to worry about any of that. But I did say before we were finished today that we would have all of the outside at least kind of done. So I'm going to pause that. A continuous, uninterrupted whatever. Even if it's not all the way up, I do think we've managed to do just about as much of that as we can. Let's also not forget that I've got these incomplete building project ideas that I don't want them to actually build. So that's going to be a thing. I also should probably talk about this. I did do this during the time-lapse. You may or may not have caught it, but this is just a classic bad water diversion, so where the bad water here just goes off. Clean water comes this way and fills this pool. Of course, the ultimate goal is for this to be entirely clean water forever. And once we have this also taken care of in that regard, which easier said than done, but I think we can most likely get that done next episode, depending on the severity of this next drought and depending on if I can get my rest of my bots back. So before we get things too... Oh, okay, this is already deprioritized. So what's not being worked on for these bots? I'm assuming it's probably... Well, it's actually, builders' huts are not feeling the crunch. So what is? Is it hauling posts? Okay. Well, that's all right. We still have 40 of those, but I'm assuming we probably shouldn't get rid of all of these. So I will put that one back on a slightly higher priority. And then half the builders' huts at a lower priority is probably okay. I guess it just kind of threw me off seeing, hey, you got 33 vacancies on here. Like, uh-oh, that's like a catastrophe level. But in reality, not really. All right, I'm going to open this just so we can, you know, not lose any of our water and also not flood over here. Oh, somebody, I won't name any names, somebody forgot to dynamite that, and now we actually have the ability to get some more stuff in here, so that's good. Oh, this didn't get... Wait, what? Oh, okay. All right. I see how it is. I've got to come over here and connect to this, and now they can build it. Yeah, so this might end up flooding in a little bit if we're not careful, but I think, you know, all things considered, we've done reasonably well. That does mean, unfortunately, that this is about to, if this is done correctly, this is about to flood our industrial area here. So I'm going to need to, first of all, check my heights here. That is 3. I'm going to blast this out and then we'll just put a bridge in its place, because this is about to superfill everything else. But hey, we got wraparound irrigation, kind of. Maybe. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, it'll drain enough. Remember, we did kind of redo this, so there's no pockets for... Okay, there's a few. But those of you, I don't know, 10 episodes ago, hey, why'd you do it that way? Well, that's why. That's why. So we didn't have random stuff flooded everywhere. But I think what's going to happen now is I close this. Damage has kind of already been done, but closing that will mitigate it at least a little bit. Oh, come on. You're going to make me an idiot here. Even more than I already was. Alright, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Give me these explosives. Now we've actually I swear, how does this happen to me every single time I try to do something like this? Some sort of lesson to be learned here, but unfortunately I won't learn it. You guys already know how this goes. Come on, come on, come on. Put your explosives in here. I need one more. I need one more. It has mostly drained, which is good. All right. Blast away. Now this can just fill all of our fun stuff here, and I can just keep this open. And then this, of course, will need to have a bridge put in place, at least temporarily. There we go. That'll preserve our connectivity there. And now this reservoir is not going to have to release as much because it's currently got this closed sluice in the way. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, folks. I really appreciate your support of this series. This has been so much fun. I know we're continuing to get into some more stuff that I haven't really ever done before. So it's bound to have some errors, some weird idiosyncrasies, and so on and so forth that keep coming up. But I'm having a good time. I hope you are as well. Again, really appreciate the support on this series. We're going to find out next episode how long this drought's going to be, and hopefully, based on your feedback, which please do let me know if you haven't already, your thoughts on the positioning of the zip lines and all that. Well, we're going to find out what we can get done there, and we're going to hopefully within the next couple of episodes have a very, very cool mega build thing taken care of, and I'm excited for that. But of course, Beard Boosters make it all possible with their support of the channel and me directly, and there's a whole lot of stuff I gotta take care of. But you guys make it a little easier and help keep the videos flowing so I can dedicate an ever-increasing amount of time to doing the videos and keeping up with the Beard Booster lists and everything else that I've been saying we're going to do forever, and we somehow never ever get around to doing, but still being worked on slowly behind the scenes. It's a process. It just takes time. You already know. But that's going to be it for today. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll be back with the Ember Pelts tomorrow. We'll be back with this series on Saturday, and we'll be back with Roller Coaster Tycoon on Sunday, so get excited for that. But yeah, that's it. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.